Hey, what is up? Crack Smoker 96 here, your favorite virtual idol. And today we've got a schizo rant on self-help scapegoats and generic advice. That's right, another motivational schizo rant. Maybe this one will get you off your ass. Anyways, enjoy the video. Please, please. Honestly, I think that there are a lot of concepts in the modern world that are just coping mechanisms for being depressed. It's far too accepted to simply say that there's something inherently wrong with you and that all of your problems are because of this one thing. Meanwhile, you're still living a purposeless lifestyle of consumerism and hedonistic indulgence, with no discipline or ambition for change. Let me ask you a question. Who wouldn't hate themselves in that situation? Who wouldn't feel like something's inherently wrong with them in that situation? I understand that many people hearing this will say, "Oh yeah, I agree with that, but that's not true. That's not me. I'm different." Listen, just sit down and really think about it, dude. Think about where you're at in life right now and what your day-to-day habits and activities are. If you saw a movie, if you saw a vlog with a person in that exact same loop, how would you feel about him? Would you think, yeah, this is a successful person, I want to be like that guy? Be honest. Listen, I would love to give insight on my own personal character, but I'm going to refrain from doing that on this channel for now. And it's just too big of a risk, I guess. Don't want to dox myself, I don't know. Let's just say that there are a large amount of people and institutions out there who benefit from convincing you that none of your problems are actually your own fault, and that you don't need to take accountability for anything, or for why you feel the way you do. It's all just blank. Oh, if I just blank, my life will be perfect. Oh man, I'm doing great. It's just, blank is getting me down. That's the only reason I feel bad every day. Self-help scapegoats are things that I think function in this similar sort of way. Whether it's TikTok kids self-diagnosing yourself with some mental health issue, or acting like there's a group you disagree with who's ruining the world, acting like your problems would be solved through either of these things, either solution of these single issues, it's just a cope for trying to permit yourself to live a degenerate lifestyle. But I'm diagnosed. I went to a doctor and I said, I hate my life, I want to kill myself every day, and he said I'm depressed. Okay, maybe I should cut this part out of the video, but yeah, no shit. If I went to my doctor and named off every symptom of whatever mental illness I've convinced myself I have because I'm reading infographics on Twitter and TikTok, 99% I would get handed a diagnosis within a month. I could easily go to a psychiatrist and just start being like, I'm just so anxious, I have panic attacks and they're debilitating. Oh man, I was going to a job interview but I got so scared and I passed out. Oh man, I'm just so nervous all the time, I don't even go outside. Boom, 2 milligrams Xanax 2 times a day. Script on the spot. I'm not saying that mental illness isn't real, alright? And I don't want to get misconstrued as that, because it definitely is, and there are certain ones that run in my family, and I understand that it's something that a lot of people suffer from. But I firmly believe that, because my audience is mostly teenagers and young adults who are going through the trials and tribulations of coming through maturity, if you haven't tried fixing your life by fixing your fucking life, then maybe you should do that before jumping to a doctor. Before saying, I'm a manufacturer defect and I need my happy pills so I can be a normal functioning adult on the computer 16 hours a day. Yes, I believe that adequate treatment and potential medication for mental health issues is important, and I'm glad that there's more awareness or whatever. But I firmly believe that your first choice should always just be discipline, ambition, and meaningful relationships and connections. I say that every time. I think that going to a psychiatrist for your problems should probably be your last resort. You should try pretty much fixing the things in your life that you can identify as problems. And I understand that that's hard because it's hard to identify problems in someone's own life. But look at it from a purely objective view. Try to be a third person. Hell, maybe even ask someone who knows you intimately and say, be completely honest with me. Don't be nice to me at all about it. You know? I think once you start removing problems from your life, if you're working out, you're eating healthy, you're making good money, you have good relationships with the people in your life, and you're not constantly subjecting yourself to like 16 hours of screen time, then if the problem's still not solved, I'd say it's fair to go and see a psychiatrist. But I think that the reason we're seeing such rising rates is because of the awareness of mental health. And I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's good that people who would have gone undiagnosed are now diagnosed. But I also think that it leads a lot of people to see it as a quick fix. You know, it leads a lot of people to kind of see it as a way to, quote-unquote, solve all your problems without taking the difficult action that is just fixing the problems in your life. You know, it's human nature to gravitate towards a lot of the problems that people have nowadays because hedonism is in our blood. Hedonism is technically a survival mechanism. And removing that can be hard, and I understand that. And, you know, if you need to get nicotine gum to quit smoking, or you need to do methadone to quit heroin, that's fine. But I think the large majority of people, and the large majority of people who are young adults coming into this world, knowing about all of these things, your first option should just be discipline. And that's about it. And the other thing I mentioned earlier, the political issue. Oh, the other side is ruining the world. Dude, let's be honest. If your political party magically won everything and all the issues that you care about were solved, I would 100% bet that you would still be a depressed, hateful piece of shit because your life fucking sucks, dude. You could literally be in your perfect utopia. And the thing is, until you can disconnect yourself from your many vices and negative behavioral patterns, your freaking mindset, dude, you will still be miserable no matter what. It's literally just copium. Political issues rarely affect you. Listen, when X was president, I was a degenerate loser. When Y was president, I was a degenerate loser. When Z was president, oh, I'm finally successful. That's not because Z was president. That's not because political times have changed. It's because I fixed my fucking life. Politics have never affected me, like, ever. Like, politics affect you like 1% of the time. And by wasting all of your energy just complaining and pretending that all of your problems would be solved if this political issue were different, you're deluding yourself. You are absolutely brain dead. You need to focus your energy and, oh, this is selfish, on yourself. You need to figure out a way to eliminate these negative patterns in your life and these things that you do that are inherently self-destructive before you can ever try to speak for society. You are running from the guilt that you feel for constantly hurting your own life. And your pursuit of some made-up everlasting happiness, whether it be some crazy political movement or some medication or, oh, I just need this one thing, no matter what it is, it's nothing more than the false promise of a doomed society. You will never be happy forever all the time, and definitely not by just doing one simple trick that doctors hate. You are not meant to be happy or stimulated all the time, and you need to become comfortable with experiencing hardship. Modern society and convenience has made it an option to just constantly distract yourself from unhappiness. You know, weed's legal. Oh, I'm feeling bad. I'm just gonna smoke weed and play video games. You know, we got hella porn now. You can access, like, the most beautiful women in the world at the touch of your fingertips at any moment in time. You know, I'm feeling bad. I need a freaking girlfriend, dude. But, you know, just for the time being, I'm gonna go rub one out to some scat gooner material. Dude, Do you not see how that is harming you? Do you not see how constantly falling into vice and constantly giving yourself breaks is just making you a worse person overall? Everyone has to feel bad at some point in their lives. But I will say, your life will get a hell of a lot better if you find things that give you meaning. Live a healthier life. Form meaningful relationships with the people you love. Yeah, you can write it off as generic or whatever, and a lot of these like daddy tuber self-help gurus do that. It's all generic advice and they want to sell you something, but I'm not selling you anything. The fact of the matter is, if you aren't living a good and healthy lifestyle, then I really just don't care about your opinion on why it's somehow bad to do things that just objectively make people happy. It feels like there's constantly these little pathetic worms, these absolute writhing mongrels, who somehow spin eat healthy and exercise or find meaning in doing/creating things you find fulfilling into an evil, toxic narrative, and that's only because it directly opposes their lifestyle of hedonism and gluttony. You are gay. You are a loser. Generic advice is common and generic because it literally just fucking works. I have not met any buff-ass dude with a fulfilling career and meaningful interpersonal relationships who lives the miserable, angry life of an internet teenager. Our generation needs to wake up to the torturous cycle of constant dopamine inconvenience and put an active effort into improving themselves. And yes, like buying a house, it's more difficult than ever to live a truly good life than it has been for our parents' generations. I understand that in the world we live in today, it's hard to avoid this news that's supposed to make you mad. It's hard to avoid all of these, oh, this one simple trick, maybe you'll fix your life. It's hard to avoid the cultural zeitgeist that constantly just wants you to feel worse. There are constant distractions, habits, and vices, and even going outside is like mostly an optional thing nowadays. It's common for people to spend their entire day off just fucking around on the computer. Work, eat, distract yourself, sleep, repeat, maybe buy things sometimes. Yeah, sure, it's the consumer joke, but seriously, look at your life, dude. If that cycle is not you, then I'm proud of you, but for the rest of you, I know it's probably real because it was real for me for a long time. But in the end, I was able to cut it off because that sort of lifestyle only stands to stifle the natural human ambition necessary to live a meaningful existence. When you were a kid, you had dreams, right? You know, oh, I want to be a race car driver. I want to be a firefighter. A lot of people look at those things now and they write them off as unrealistic. Oh, you know, I can't become a CEO because I got a bum leg. I got asthma. What? Ah, dude, I can't become a firefighter. I get depressed when I spend 16 hours a day on my computer. What? Oh, dude, I can't go back to college because, like, I would be too much in debt. Okay, that one's a little fair. You know, that I'll admit that one's a little fair. But if you really are dedicated to it and you really do follow through, you can pay off the debt. I don't know. And there are very cheap colleges that are available. New York City College, I believe it's called. University of Phoenix is pretty cheap. A lot of in-state schools have programs and grants. Dude, I'll let you in on a secret. When I was in college, I didn't pay any money, actually. I got a grant. I made money. They just like gave me cash to go to school. And if you look into programs like that, if you apply to grants and scholarships, you can literally make like hella bands, dude. I made like 12 racks when I was in college. But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is, if you're depressed, you know, I feel for you. You know, I've been there before, but I don't want you to just assume that there's something inherently wrong with you and you'll never achieve anything, because that sort of defeatist mindset is what will keep you depressed. If you want to claw your way out of depression, if you want to claw your way out of that miserable hole that you've, you know, either by your own fault or not by your fault, dug yourself into, the only way you can do that is with direct, deliberate action. And I'm being 100% genuine when I say this. It's going to be hard as hell. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. But once you get past around I don't know, 4 months, you're going to be feeling like a baller. You're going to be feeling like a swag man, as some people might say. You know, I wouldn't say that personally. I would say baller, but some people might say swag man. But yeah, that's my schizo rant, you know? I'm genuinely tired. No, actually, here's another paragraph. I'm just going to whip out another unscripted paragraph. One thing that I see constantly online is the glorification and the romanticization of depression and the romanticization of, you know, unhealthy hedonistic vices, you know? Whether that be like self-harm promotion, anorexia promotion, suicide cults, that sort of thing. You know, some of you might not know what I'm talking about, but it exists, you know? Also like mental illness TikTok. I'm not saying the ones where it's like doctors or like the ones where it's actually spreading awareness. I mean like ones where it's supposed to be quirky to have a mental illness. I think that there's a lot of media out there that is really not good for you to be consuming. And one of the lowest points in my life was when I was consuming like edgy, depressing posts, you know, like edits with rainfall, playing like XXXTentacion songs. One of the lowest points in my life, I was consuming so much of that. And in my mind, I was like, it makes me feel better because it's relatable. No, it doesn't, dude. You are literally poisoning your mind with that shit. That will literally kill you. I'm not even kidding. If you allow yourself to feed into that sort of thing, you will genuinely just go on a bad path. For me personally, I deleted all of my social media. I really did. And the only social media that I have to this day are these accounts that I'm on right now. And that's for content creation, so it's different. I'm not going to say that social media as a whole is evil, because I don't believe it is. I do think that there are a lot of valuable things about social media, and I do enjoy being a content creator. But there's also a lot of things that can be very dangerous, and I think it's easy to underestimate the danger, because it's like, oh, it's just images on a screen, you know? It's just sounds and stuff. Words cannot explain how much of an impact the media you consume has on you. You will not realize it. I never realized it. Nobody who's in it realizes it. But it's the type of things that you watch and the type of things that you surround yourself with that kind of shape who you are as a person. What I'm trying to say is, you ever hear that saying, your circle is like defines who you are, or whatever it is, you know, the friends you keep around are the friends that you will become. Don't remember the exact quote, but I think that's true, but also I think that can be applied to the media you consume now. Media consumption has gone up exponentially in just the past 5 years, and I think it goes without saying that social interaction is no longer just limited to in-person interaction. And I'm not even talking about like Discord voice chats or anything. If you're watching people who espouse certain beliefs day in and day out, you will in turn find yourself adopting those beliefs. You will in turn find yourself becoming more extreme day by day. And that might sound like ironic, you know. Listen, I know it's hypocritical, whatever. I don't think there's anything wrong with having, ardent beliefs that you want to stand by and that you love with all your heart and that you would fight for. But I don't think that you can allow that stuff to consume you, because the way that they're doing it now is they're saying like, the world is fucked up because of the liberal agenda. Or they're saying, the world is fucked up because of these Republicans. The truth is, if you're filling your head with things that make you angry, you're going to look outside, you're going to step out your front door, and you're going to think, wow, what a fucked up world. These liberals and or Republicans are really fucking up the shit. Realistically, dude, I step outside, I don't even think about that. I think, hey, I'm going to go get in my car, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a good time. Going to go home, record some videos, and I'm going to ball out. Don't concern yourself with this shit that you see on social media, because in the end, it's not fucking real. None of it's real. All of this is just like a game. Social media is basically an alternate reality game that people have just started taking too seriously. You realize we're all role-playing characters on here, right? You think that, like, any of these people actually act in real life how they act on the internet? Fuck no. The internet isn't just like, oh, it's a place for you to express your thoughts. Yeah, it's a place for you to express your thoughts, of course. But if you think that that's, like, an accurate representation of how each and every content creator is, you have no idea, dude. I am the only real content creator. And that's facts. Conclusion paragraph here. So I genuinely, looking at my audience, of course with a few outliers and everything, you guys are mostly young adults and teenagers. And it's during that phase in your life where you're going to feel the most conflicted. You're going to feel the most depressed. You're going to feel like life is hard and nobody is ever going to understand you. But the truth is, that's just how it is. We were all there once, and it takes a long time for you to figure it out. And it's not like you're going to figure it out overnight. There's not a switch that's going to flip and you're just going to be like, wow, I'm not sad no more. No, you have to make constant, continuous effort to be a good person. I think the thing is, childhood and adolescence from the 2000s onward has become a lot more hand-holdy. You know the meme where, like, those old boomers are like, oh yeah, they're just giving out participation trophies to all the kids now. They ain't gonna know nothing about winning. Yeah, I think that that's pretty funny, I'll admit. But I think that in the modern era, it is very easy to coast along in life as a child and as a teenager, even if you're fucking up. Because, I'm not going to say, like, hand-holdy, because I think that makes it sound like I'm trying to say that, like, oh, it's like a bitch system. No. It's become a lot more supportive. That's what it is. There are a lot more resources, and there's a lot more avenues for success during those ages, and a lot of people take them for granted. Your teachers in high school, well, yeah, you might hate them. Aw, Miss Blank is such a bitch. I hate her, dude. Yeah, whatever. Realistically, that shit's easy, because there are people like that. There's no one now for me to complain, oh, this guy's such a bitch, because nobody is fucking there for you in adult life. It has to be you. Yeah, I mean, all right, I'll say there are people there for you. Your loved ones, your family, all that sort of thing. But nobody's going to hold your hand and guide you through things. Nobody's going to tell you exactly what it is you have to do and what your life path should be. In high school, it's like, all right, I'm going to help you with this homework assignment. Go to the tutor, and they'll teach you how to do this math. Oh, you're failing the class? Come on, come over here. We can just, like, bump up your grade a little bit. Just do these assignments, catch up on your late work, blah, blah, blah. No, that doesn't exist in the real world. You miss a deadline, you're just fucked. You just got to give up on it. And you have to be able to cultivate the mindset to deal with that in order to become a successful person. It sounds bad. You might hear that and you might think, like, oh man, that sounds really hard. That sounds really hard. I don't know if I can do it. But the thing is, you can and you will, and it'll make you feel amazing. You will become the person that you want to be if you just try as hard as you can to. Literally, my life changed the moment I decided I'm just going to do shit that's cool. Like, literally, that was my thought process because I was a little retard. I went, I'm just going to start being cool. And it worked. So that's the thing. You just got to do your thing. And you got to try as hard as you can to sculpt yourself into the person that you want to be, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And that's it. That's the whole video. I know that this was like a lot of my schizo rants, but I just felt like, you know, I felt like saying it. So thank you for watching, as always. And if you like this video right now, I'm going to give you the magic red pill, and it's going to awaken your eyes. You're going to open your eyes to society, and you're going to realize it's all a fun game. It's all a fun playground. Oh wait, one more paragraph actually. Let's do one more paragraph. See, and that might sound hard to you. That might sound like awful. But it's actually really fun and really awesome, because life is literally just creative mode. You can literally do whatever you want. You can be whatever kind of person you want. And nobody can stop you. You can say, oh, but I can't buy a yacht. I can't buy a yacht, so what about that? Huh? Owned. You could buy a yacht if you figured out a way to. You can do literally anything you want, like, and you're choosing to just like be on the internet and try to poke holes in in a literally like a positive message. If you're trying to like figure out little nitpicks through this entire rant, if you're trying to figure out like, oh well, what about disabled people? What about people who are born poor? You are exactly the kind of loser that I am talking about. So, get a job, get a life, and you're fired. Thanks for watching, and as always,
subscribe to make me feel better about my regrets.
And yeah, that's it. Here are my Patreons up on the screen. I'm not going to say all their names. This video went on too long. I'm sorry, my voice is dying. Bye. And as always, keep it real. People are no longer willing to put their foot down and say, stop being a bitch, you know? Cut that part out. Cut that part out.
We be joking on the move. Esoteric milkerism. Movie.
Also, I would like to say that none of the groups that I represent agree with that. That's just me.